Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch. The government is looking into the waiting room problem at hospitals in Edmonton.
I think when I was there, I saw about 3 doctors and there was tons of people.
Alberta plans to sue tobacco companies for healthcare costs.
And this is not a small number. This amounts to billions in damages to the healthcare system.
EMS lets Edmontonians know what they should do when an emergency vehicle approaches.
People are just, I think, unaware of the safest procedure.
NAIT NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. Revelations of emergency room wait time are sending a major ripple through Alberta's healthcare system.
Patients with broken bones, strokes, and cardiac complications are recounting horror stories of waiting hours before receiving care. The government is promising more beds, but there are many questions surrounding that commitment. Alessandra Bruni joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
Doctors and the Alberta government presented a united front this week, announcing a new target for emergency room care. It comes at a time when some patients are frustrated with the current system.
Zach Millard waited more than 3 hours before he was treated for his concussion after a hockey incident.
Yeah, I could hear people like when I actually got into just a room to be assessed and see what was going on. I could hear other people like vomiting and stuff like that. And it was just crazy. There was like 3 or 4 people doing that, and then I saw other people. I saw one old lady with an eye patch and stuff like that, and she was still waiting.
The Minister of Health plans to implement new policies by Christmas to change that. While Zach was treated within the government's acceptable time limits, patients will wait no longer than 4 hours from the time they arrive at emergency to the time they are treated and discharged home. Patients who need to be admitted to the hospital will wait no more than 8 hours in emergency before they are transferred to a bed in another ward. The province also is committing an additional 250 beds in Edmonton and Calgary by the end of the year. Zach Millard hopes he never has to make another trip to emergency. He welcomes the changes but worries there's not enough staff to deliver the care.
And the other one were probably not enough doctors. I think when I was there, I saw about 3 doctors and there was tons of people. Like there was quite a few people, and they were juggling around probably 10 people each at a time. So that's what takes it so long. There's not enough staff, in my opinion.
Zach's concerns are common among those who have waited for treatment in emergency rooms.
Now, Allie, do we know how many people this issue has affected?
Statistics taken from the University of Alberta show that 50 to 80% of emergency room patients were waiting for beds in different wards. There are approximately 780 people occupying acute care beds that are also waiting for long-term placement.
How does the government plan to fix this problem?
Some of the solutions being discussed are building 1,300 continuing care beds across the province, again streamlining discharge systems for patients and improving the Health Link information line to include wait time estimates.
Thanks, Alessandra. That's Alessandra Bruni reporting live from our news center tonight.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch.
The Alberta government is joining the ranks of 3 other provinces who are hoping to make the big tobacco companies pay, and pay big time.
Anti-smoking advocates are applauding the move, saying it's about time the government put more accountability on the tobacco industry. Rachel Lees is covering the story and joins us from a common smoking area near NAIT.
The Alberta government is planning to recoup billions of dollars in healthcare costs by launching a lawsuit against big tobacco.
A potential lawsuit against the tobacco industry doesn't faze Jack Nemo. What does is the industry losing that fight and the price of his habit going up.
They already cost enough. I don't want to pay more.
BC, Ontario, and New Brunswick have already filed statements of claim, hoping to recoup skyrocketing healthcare costs associated with treating those with cancer and other tobacco-related illnesses.
The government really has a duty in this case to try to recover those costs from the tobacco industry that they have contributed to our healthcare system. And this is not a small number. This amounts to billions in damages to the healthcare system.
Not only are they hoping the government will recover costs, activists believe this will be an incentive for people to quit smoking.
The average numbers are down 18%. So that's 1% that's down. So that's a huge thing, right? We know the sales are down. We know that increasing the prices in cigarettes will assist in decreasing the consumption of cigarettes.
Not all smokers are convinced of that.
That's not what gets a smoker to quit. And I know that because I am a smoker. I have a lot of friends who are smokers. You could raise the packs to $20 and people aren't going to quit unless they want to quit because they just don't want to smoke anymore.
Activists also want tobacco companies to revamp their marketing techniques.
It is to recover the tremendous healthcare costs resulting from tobacco industry predatory and deceptive marketing practices over the years. And the industry has to be held accountable for the impact it has had on the tobacco epidemic in Alberta.
Activists hope this will encourage tobacco distributors to rethink their marketing methods.
Thanks, Rachel. That's Rachel Lees reporting from NAIT. The rules haven't changed, but some drivers are still unsure of what to do when emergency vehicles are approaching. The city, Edmonton Emergency Services, and AMA have come up with a new solution in hopes to curb the problem.
Time is the enemy in any emergency.
A video is now available that explains and demonstrates the proper protocol when drivers see and hear sirens coming. The simple rule is to pull over to the right and stop when safe to do so.
On average, on a daily basis, we're encountering these problems. People are just, I think, unaware of the safest procedure to, what do I do now that I hear this ambulance or fire truck or police car behind me or in front of me or beside me? What do I do now? And so people often just panic.
The goal is that by educating the public, the roads will be safer for everybody and emergency vehicles can get by to their destination faster.
Mayor Stephen Mendel and 12 members of council took oaths at City Hall to mark the official start to the next 3 years in office. They were sworn in one by one, and there was a sense of camaraderie among the new and returning councillors.
Don and I are going to help each other out and call ourselves Ward 19, Ward 9 and 10, and we'll cooperate working on our old Ward 5 as two separate wards, but the intent is to make it move forward in a good, solid, happy manner.
Given the number of issues that are faced with this term, Mayor Mendel recognized some changes that need to be made for effective communication.
I think we need to have better, even in writing information for citizens to give a better explanation of things. We need to go more in person.
The first council meeting was on Thursday.
The Blueprint for the Future came to our city where they helped the Aboriginal youth prepare for their future. The BFF hit Edmonton this week where hundreds of Aboriginal students from all over Alberta came to see the many different post-secondary options that they can choose from.
We are the fastest growing demographic in Canada and the least likely to get out of high school. So first goal, stay in high school. You do have choices. And there's a cheering section here.
Along with the Blueprint for the Future holding 40 to 60 workshops, it was all over a positive experience for the youth that attended.
October 19th to the 23rd was Foster Care Appreciation Week. With almost 200 children in the program, it was great to see the foster parents being recognized. Pathway Family Services held a heartwarming get-together to show just how much they appreciate their parents in the program, with food, coffee, and cake.
The most important part of this week for us is honoring our families and recognizing the staff and that work with children and families.
Pathways has over 70 foster families and is one of the largest foster care agencies in Edmonton, so the acknowledgements were appreciated. To see how you can help, go to pathwaysfamilyservices.com.
There is no better way to start a day than with a bit of magic. Local magician and author of Morton the Magician, Sheldon Cassavant, put on a show for a group of kids at the Stollery Children's Hospital. 4-year-old Sophia Upton took it all in from the front row.
Did you enjoy the magic show?
Cassavant says he enjoys creating magic to allow the kids to escape into fantasy. After the show, everyone got to take home a signed copy of his book.
Coming up after the break, get a cure for the winter blues.
Student Body examines the importance of light during dark months.
I guess you notice once it starts getting cold, the days get shorter, you get kind of...
This week on End Zone Challenge, look down, then up, then down, then back at me. I'm on a horse. Okay.
With the winter weather creeping in, you might have a harder time getting out of bed in the morning.
You could be the victim of winter blues or seasonal affective disorder. Maria Boychuk has more.
Seasonal affective disorder is a mood disorder in which people who have normal mental health throughout most of the year experience depressive symptoms in the winter and less frequently in the spring and summer. The symptoms of SAD include change in appetite, decreased energy and fatigue, tendency to oversleep, difficulty concentrating, avoidance of social situations, and feelings of anxiety or despair. Scott Romerman told me about his experience.
I can definitely tell that it's harder to get out of bed in the morning to go to school because you know it's cold out. You got to stand by the bus stop for 15 minutes, and just the day just seems so much longer because you go to school when it's dark, you come home when it's dark. And
SAD can be treated through exposure to natural light such as the sun or purchased light sources. Medication and therapy can also be used. Now you know enough about joining others and the possibility of having seasonal affective disorder. This has been Maria Boychuk for NAIT NewsWatch.
You know what, Bree, the weather is getting a little bit chilly. I think it's safe to say that summer is officially over.
Yes, but I don't think this Sunday it's going to be as cold as it was a couple weeks ago, so those little trick-or-treaters will be okay. Julie has more.
You know, we might need to wear some sweaters and jackets, but overall I think it's going to be pretty good weather for Halloween. In Monday in Calgary, the people can look forward to a sunny high of 10 and a low of -4 with only a 10% chance of precipitation. In Jasper, they're going to have a little bit of a cooler day with a cloudy high of 3 and a low of -5. They have a 20% chance of precipitation. Fort McMurray is going to have a sunny day with a high of 6 and a low of -5 and no chance of precipitation. And here in Edmonton, we can look forward to a sunny high of 6, a low of 3, and 10% chance of precipitation. The average high of this time of year is +4, so we're a little bit above that now. But back in 1931, we actually had the record high, which was +23. And in 1984, the record low was -25, so at least we're not that chilly yet.
Weather sponsored by NR92.com, the station for the students.
So other than Halloween, we actually have a lot to look forward to this week. We're going to have above temperatures for all this week. And that's it for weather.
The proposed downtown sports and entertainment facility is now up for public discussion, and the City of Edmonton wants your feedback for the decision-making process.
The online questionnaire is now live and available for access. Additionally, 4 public open houses with discussion groups will be held in November. For more information, visit edmonton.ca. Joining us right now is Taylor Pornlin with sports.
So I hear the women won semifinals in soccer.
That's right. They managed to pull off the win with a close victory.
That's good.
So where does that leave them standing?
Well, Kathy, I'll tell you all that and more coming up in sports. This past weekend, the NAIT Ooks women's soccer team took on the Mount Royal Cougars in the semifinals of the ACAC Provincials. In the first half, the ACAC leading scorer, Leanne Kadatz, is tied up by Cougars defender Janelle Carbet. Play continues and Ooks get a break, or so it seems, until the ref raises his hand offside. Minutes later, a Cougars corner is destined for a goal until Ooks goalkeeper Tara Evans comes up with a save. The second half starts off with a head-on collision between defender Alex Maw and 2 Cougar attackers. Cougars are awarded possession, but no cards in the play. Once again, a Cougar attack from the point is steered clear by Evans, who simply looks like a reincarnation of Superman on the pitch. Kelly Tatirin, who has managed to notch a few of her own goals this season, manages to keep the ball inbounds, crosses it, which results in a near miss for the Ooks. Still a 0-0 game. Finally, what looks like a sure Cougars goal off the rebound is missed by a frantic kick by fallen Megan McDonald. Then in the 89th minute of play, what seems like a harmless play results in a turnover that finds the back of a Cougars net. The goal was scored by midfielder Lisa Martin. With the win, the Ooks moved on to the finals of ACAC, where they fell 4-3 to Concordia in a thrilling shootout finale. After the game, coach Sergio Texeira commented on his goaltender performance and how she played.
She was ridiculous. She made some absolutely key saves at key moments. So it was fun to watch.
After a long, hard summer full of recruiting and players conditioning, the Ooks men's basketball team finally began regular season play in the ACAC. After splitting the first 2 games against Lakeland, Coach Don Phillips believes the challenging start could be related to a unique situation.
You know, the tough part about having so much talent is that getting that talent to play together, because they all think they can do it, right? So we need to get them to develop into a single-cell organism.
Though the Ooks currently have a record of 500 in conference play, Phillips is confident his squad will be a team to beat in conference play progressives.
We just need to continue to work hard, learn our systems, and like I said, I wouldn't want to be a team to play us later on, because we're definitely not close to peaking.
After a decisive win over visiting Manitoba Bisons last weekend, the U of A Golden Bears football team is playoff bound. Though the Bears played in the Big Dance last season, the team has failed to record a playoff win in 5 consecutive seasons. Heading into the first game, Bears coach Jerry Friesen believes the mentality of a team has to change.
We just have to make sure that we get a mindset of being in the playoffs and really push the players, push the envelope.
A major factor of our plays into the Bears' championship run will rest on the defense's capability to put points on the scoreboard.
Go out there and make sure that we end up going out there and fighting for the ball and creating some turnovers and creating some fumbles and getting some interceptions so that we can tilt the field.
The 74th edition of a Can West Hardy Cup will be played on November 14th. After starting the CFL season with one of the worst records in recent history, the Eskimos have finally established themselves in the playoff mix with 4 consecutive wins. While the Eskimos have experienced success as of late, they'll have to do without the services of Ricky Ray, who suffered a shoulder injury. The sideline of Ray is just part of a game, according to Richie Hall.
That's part of the game, you know, and it's how well can you adapt. You know, again, it's a challenge, but it's not an issue, and that's what we're still going to go forward.
Former Boise State standout Jared Zabransky takes over the teams as his team's #1 quarterback. Zabransky believes the Eskimos will contend in the playoffs if they focus on that.
We really need to concentrate on taking care of the football. You know, that's a big key for us to not turn the football over and keep ourselves in good situations.
The Eskimos also required former CFL MVP Kerry Joseph, who will serve as team's 3rd-string quarterback. Thinking I'd be able to take a break on my feet, I took on the world of equestrian horse jumping in this week's End Zone Challenge at the White Mud Equestrian Center. While many people have seen countless movie stars make riding a horse look easy in motion pictures, in reality, the experience can be a lot harder than it looks. After learning all the proper safety procedures and mounting techniques on a horse simulator used for lessons, I was finally able to make my way to a true test, riding a real live horse. While I managed to ride the horse solo for a little bit, I learned I was a long way off from being able to jump in competition.
It takes probably about 3 years for them to be in top peak order, sometimes more than that. It depends on the level of the rider.
While learning the basic controls that are involved in riding a horse are essential, White Mud lesson and program director Linda Tennyson believes treating a horse as an individual and not a machine can make a difference in the rider.
I would say loving the horse and knowing safety and realizing they're not a machine, that they're a living, breathing animal, and understanding their nature and how they feel.
Finally, the moment that can be the most difficult for beginners in the sport, dismounting the horse. However, due to my excellent instructors, my first time was a charm. For more information on getting involved in the sport, along with class information, log on to whitemudequestriancenter.ca.
So Taylor, when do you think you're going to be ready to jump the fence?
Maybe give me 20 years, then I'll be ready.
Looked like you had a lot of fun, and what a beautiful animal.
Certainly was.
Coming up after the break, Bree and I found out what it means to be homeless.
We spend a night in an Edmonton shelter.
Getting to sleep was a little hard though. A lot of people, pretty loud, screaming.
Coming up in entertainment, I check out what's going on in our city for Halloween.
Provided for NAIT NewsWatch by Carrie L. Salon and Spa.
Clothing for NAIT NewsWatch supplied by Club Monaco.
Bree and I sacrificed our beds to experience the hardships that many homeless people in Edmonton face.
In exchange to be homeless for a night, we raised money for the Hope Mission.
Thank you.
The Hope Mission opens its doors 7 days a week to feed hundreds of homeless people. Gabriel lost his job when the recession hit.
He's been in Edmonton for over 2 months and is grateful for the amount of services provided for people in crisis.
Right now, I'm going through a program right here through the Hope Mission right now, just to help me find housing and other support. So it's been very, very good for me, actually.
Although there's a standing stereotype about homeless people, he says the case isn't the same for many.
No, all of us are not uneducated or drug addicts, even though I said what I said. But not all of us. Everybody seeps through the cracks of society.
After we finished our dinner, we walked over to the women's shelter.
Hi, it's Kathy from NAIT.
We checked in, were briefed with the rules of the shelter, and patted down for dangerous objects.
After receiving our blankets, we went to the blue mats on the floor and called it a night.
Getting to sleep was a little hard though. A lot of people pretty loud, screaming, or like night terrors.
Some of these girls coming in just were, you can tell they were like totally done. They were either drunk or like drunk, or they were on something. And it was just such a scary sight to see.
We raised over $1,500 for the Hope Mission. To donate, visit hopemission.com. Coming up in entertainment, a local celebrity comes home.
Jessica Kent has more on how the limelight affected him. This week I had the chance to meet up with Canada's third favorite dancer. The So You Think You Can Dance star opened up about life on the show and what the future holds for him now that it's over. What do you want to be when you were little?
When I was little, it was either to be an astronaut or a performer. So I got one of the two, so I'm pretty happy with that. I just knew that I wanted to be on stage and perform, and ever since I was young, I've always wanted to do that, so.
So what kind of dancer would you classify yourself as now?
It's another experience, and I think that being the top 3 dancers in Canada is very, very much a privilege, but you just need to keep working harder. Competition, you can't really let what people say get to you. You need to really stay inside your own head. And if you don't have a strong mind, you can definitely buckle at the knees, for sure.
Can you sum up your experience on the show in one word for me? And why would you choose that word?
The whole experience is very terrifying and yet satisfying. Yeah, I'm so happy I did it, and it definitely paid off, I think.
So opportunities must be knocking at your door right now. What's next for you?
Yeah, there's been a lot of opportunities, and I don't really know what's going to come up next because I need to make some decisions on where I want my career to go. So film and TV is where it seems to be going right now. But I love performing in front of a live audience, and I think I always will love that.
Now that you've found your newfound fame, have you been recognized in Edmonton, Toronto, or?
Yeah, it's really strange, and you get a lot of kind of like stares, awkward stares, because they're not sure if they think who you are. It's really strange.
Do you ever think that, what if this doesn't work out for me? Do you have a backup plan, or?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. You never know what the future holds. It's sort of like there's no stone unturned. So I'm really happy with the experience.
Good. Well, it's that time of year again. The time where instead of hiding from ghosts and goblins, we're paying money to experience them and all the horror that Halloween holds. And I do warn you that some of the images shown may be too scary for some young trick-or-treaters. Thousands of Edmontonians are sharing their scream this year at the newest Halloween festival in town.
I think it's awesome. As far as I know, it's the first time that it's played in Edmonton, and it was based in Calgary, so I was pretty stoked when I heard that it was going to be here.
Screamfest is Edmonton's biggest Halloween festival, hosting carnival games, 7 haunted houses, and live freak shows from all over the world.
My specialty is a trick called the human meathead that I came up with. And it's done with a 16-inch meat hook that I put through my face. I'll show you.
Yep, that's right.
Normal is the last word you would use to describe Screamfest.
One cowbell is kind of heavy. One cowbell kind of hurts.
This $1 million festival has been in Calgary and Vancouver for the last 9 years before making its way north to share a few of their abnormalities with our city.
It's got a lot of things you'll never forget.
ScreenFest is a 13+ event, charging $20 at the door to get in. Stop by tonight at 6 p.m. till midnight at the Northlands Expo Center. For more information, visit screenfest.ca. Excited filmmakers gathered at a new Asian village this week for a sneak preview of what will be playing at this year's Global Visions Film Festival.
This is the High Level Bridge. It's where people who live in Edmonton go when we're finally ready to kill ourselves.
Global Visions, or GVFF, is celebrating its 29th annual festival in Edmonton, bringing documentary filmmakers from around the world to celebrate their real-life films.
Films like this don't have a lot of opportunities to be screened internationally. I'm really excited to be part of it because it is one of the longest running documentary film festivals in North America, which I think is really great to have that type of legacy.
It's always black. What they're doing, they're treating it.
28 films that have not yet made it to the silver screen will be playing at the Paramount Theatre, including Edmonton's Trevor Anderson and his film The High Level Bridge and Julian Elizabeth's On Coal River.
Global Visions gives us an opportunity to play at a theater near you in Edmonton, which we are very thankful for as filmmakers to have these kinds of opportunities.
GVFF is on from November 11th to the 14th. For more information on where you can buy tickets, go to globalvisionsfestival.com. This week I had the chance to check out the preview for the new movie Due Date, coming out this Friday.
You're on the no-fly list.
We are having this baby on Friday. How do you expect to get home?
The road home has never been so long.
Crisis averted, I'm driving.
Robert Downey Jr. stars in this comedy as Peter Hyman, an expectant first-time father trying to get back to Atlanta in time for his baby's birth.
Close in 5 minutes. I got reservations at Chili's.
You have a reservation at Chili's.
That's actually smart. I mean, it gets busy on Wednesday night.
Finding out he's on the no-fly list forces him to hitch a ride with Ethan Tremblay, played by Zach Galifianakis.
Hello, dear.
Where are you?
With the Great Canyon. I'll be there in a minute.
Did you just say the Grand Canyon?
Don't panic! Don't panic!
What he thought would be a cross-country road trip turned out to be a disaster in a tin box.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Well, that's all I have for you for entertainment tonight. Make sure you have a fun and safe Halloween. Back to you, ladies.
So, I am a huge fan of Robert Downey Jr.
I know, he's quite the good-looking man. I think that movie will be nice to go see. What about trick-or-treating, though?
You know, I'm going to probably bring my brother trick-or-treating, so...
Oh, that's good. I'm going to bring my little sister, too. She's Cat in the Hat. It's so cute. But thanks for watching NAIT News Watch.
Have a happy Halloween.